people need to understand the hero's journey, and then they need to make a decision. Do I want to be a hero in my own story, or do I want to be a victim? Or do I want to be the villain? Because some people are choosing to be the villain. You get to choose. And whether you know you're choosing or not, you're choosing. You're making a decision.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Humanity 2.0 podcast, where we are talking to humans about humanity. Imagine that. Today's guest is Robin Harris, who is an advocate for human potential. Man, I love that, Robin. How are you doing today?
I am doing excellent and wonderful.
Ah, that's so good to hear. I mean, how could you not be? You're an advocate for human potential. Like, what does that even mean?
Well, I started using that as my sort of centering long before we got into this whole AI thing. But now I'm truly an advocate for human potential because we are so magnificent. We have so much potential that is just sitting there. It's just sitting there waiting on us. It's like, hello, come get me, come cultivate me, come on, come play with me. And we are being in today, we are being lulled into ignoring our human potential and chasing something artificial. And I'm not against technology. 25 years in the industry. I love technology and I use it all. I'm an early adopter and everything, but technology is never more important than humans.
Amen to that. Amen to
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And we will definitely unpack a whole lot of that a little bit later. But what I do want to touch on is that you had this really intentional inflection in the word advocate.
Yes.
So the word advocate and advocacy in your work, what does that look like in terms of what you do and what kind of actions you take toward advocacy?
Well, I work with clients one-on-one, but I offer a lot of free content. And my husband is like, this is a lot. I was like, I know it's probably overwhelming people because then I have to give them like a guide to like, how do you use these tools and helping them understand their own mind and helping them cultivate and go deep into their own treasure chest to see what can I pull out and work with. And then I make it very clear I'm a human being. And if you email me, if you text me, if you connect with me, you're not going to get some canned answer. You're not going to get some auto response. You're going to be connecting with a real human. A real human. And if I can point you in the right direction, like go read this book, go do this, go take this program, go look at what this person had to say about this, because this is so applicable to your circumstance. Because I know I'm not the end all be all for everybody, but I can probably direct people.
Right. Right. You're a conduit. You're a networker. There are so many networkers that I've met in the last couple weeks. It's not even funny, but I love that people are just open to helping other people just simply because it's a good thing to do. It's the right thing to do. It's inherently what we do. We help each other. We, heal each other. We lift each other. All of these things that we do for others. It's so beautiful that it's a natural response.
Yes.
I love that I will get an actual response in my inbox from you. I love that. No assistance, no AI,
No.
none of that. I feel the same way. And I'm just going to say it and put it out there. If somebody writes me a letter, like handwrites, you're going to get a handwritten letter back. So just saying. I'm going to need to open up a P.O. box or something. So Miss Robin, you're talking about humanity, my most favorite subject in the world. Let me ask you this. Are you a good human and why?
I am a work in progress. And as far as being a good human, I'm a better human than I used to be. I've made some mistakes, things I've done that I've regretted, hurt some people, had to go back and say, I'm sorry. Made some huge mistakes in my life, sometimes just because I just didn't know any better. But I think for me, the bigger thing beyond just being human is acknowledging that I'm also divine. I'm a dual citizen just like every other human. And both need to have their space and they need to be, you know, merged. And I'm trying to be a better human. That is my goal. Better and better and better. I come out of technology to compliance where we say talk about continuous improvement. It's never perfect. So better and better and better. There's always a next level. And for me, I am consciously on a journey and I, it's hard sometimes. I don't like to use the word hard because my mind will latch on. Ooh, it's hard. We might not want to. No, little me. That's okay. It's okay for this to be hard because on the other side there's a huge payoff. But some of the things I'm experiencing now as a human are just so overwhelming to me. Like a lot of this chaos in the world and all it because it's like really we're doing that, and I feel I'm an empath. So it takes me out of my peaceful space, and then I have to work to get back into a place of peace because peace is a powerful thing. And so I think my biggest thing right now is to maintain peace even while we're going through the chaos and to help other people kind of like understand why it's so important to do it and that yes, you can do it.
Yes, I think peace is so important. I think that it is essential for you even to help anybody else. Because if
Right.
you're not centered, if you're not okay in yourself, then you can't really do much else, right?
Right.
You're just sitting there. Somebody brought up the image of when you're in the airplane and they're talking about the mask, right? The
Right.
mask with the
Yep.
oxygen. And they're saying, put it on yourself first and then go help other people. A
Right.
lot of people
Right.
would be like, no, no, let me go help. No, 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 no,
No,
no,
no.
no, no,
Right.
no. Put
Right.
on the darn mask and then go help other people. So finding our peace and being centered is so, so vital and so important. I wholeheartedly agree with you there. I really enjoy that you did not say, "Oh yeah, I'm good. I'm a great human." Like you were like, "I'm a work in progress." And you're continuously getting better. That is like the recipe of growth, right? Is continuously getting better and recognizing that there's room for improvement. So I
Right.
really, really love that you said that. Thank you. And then also just considering and sharing with us that there were things that you did before that either you didn't know better or mistakes that you made, and a lot of our growth comes from that acknowledgement and visiting those parts of our lives and
Mhm.
wondering what could we have done better, but what can we do now to be
Right.
better, and
Right.
we have to acknowledge them. We just cannot just be better or try to be better. We have to go back. It's so important to go back, I think.
Yes. Yes.
So humanity as a whole, I love asking people, like, what do you define as humanity? But really, when you think of humanity, just like that term, what comes to mind for you as far as like a phrase, an image, a story, or even a color?
My gosh, this is a good one. I see humanity right now as the caterpillar version of itself. And that chrysalis to get to the butterfly. First of all, I looked at this and I was like, oh my gosh, only 5% of caterpillars become butter. Now I believe we're not here just one time. I believe this is a process. You got to keep coming and you get it right. So 5%, 5%, 5%. Eventually we'll get there. But the chrysalis process is not a gentle process. The caterpillar is going to fight its own evolution. And so this is what I think we're seeing right now is the old systems are fighting. They're like, we gotta dig deep. We can't let them, push us off the playing field. No, this is our world. We want to keep being a caterpillar. And it's really an internal war. It's a war for our species evolution.
And when you're talking about all of these things that are happening in the world, all of the chaos, can you name some specifically?
Well, the political polarization, the influence of a few tech companies to bring in something with the intention of making the human obsolete, which just sounds absolutely bizarre to me. The whole Epstein file thing, that's like, what the heck? You see, in the world, I was looking at the whole educational system because some of my clients they came out of education because it's like, you know what, I can't bring my best in this environment anymore. So I'm going to have to do something else. And I said, is this just here? And I'm looking at like UK is losing thousands and thousands of teachers. Educators are saying, you know what, if I can't bring my best anymore to the children. So we created environments that actually create mental illness. Some of our environments and some of our social things we're normalizing actually contributes to mental illness. And I'm being literal here. And so this is the chaos. This is the chaos. But I have to remind myself, don't be afraid. Don't be sad. It's a chrysalis. It's messy. I pulled a card, one of my oracle cards, and it's like the edge of evolution is messy. It's not just messy, it's chaotic. It's edgy. It presses buttons within me. It makes me want to be sad. I start asking, are we gonna be okay? Are we gonna be okay? And that's when I have guides, and they're like, "Okay, we get you're an empath, but we need you to focus on your plate." That's on God's plate,
Yeah. Yeah.
and you have a little sliver. You have a little sliver, and we need you to focus on what's on your plate
Hmm.
and do it with love, with faith, with positive expectation. Let Because God got people all over.
Hmm.
Across the globe. They don't all call themselves one thing.
Right.
Some of them call themselves atheists. They're still working for that one bigger purpose, right?
Hmm.
And together, when you put our work together and it's echoing out and it's touching and this ripple effect, we can hold this up. We can hold the line for humanity's healing. We can do it. And you're not going to see that if you look at what's coming through the media. And you're not going to see that if you're just scrolling, scrolling, scrolling. And you're not going to the messaging is not going to let you know that you're only seeing the loud, noisy pieces. 'Cause the light is pretty quiet, and I wish it wouldn't be.
Well, I propose that there are people in the media and creative spaces that are trying to bring forth
Yes.
more positive content and more content that allows people to open their minds and kind of think about other scenarios other than their own and to challenge ideas and to
Mhm,
think
mhm.
positively. So I know quite a few creators and also other media professionals who they understand the need for more positivity and more open discussions. So
Yes,
I can certainly report that that's a thing. I myself am a proponent of positive content. That's why this show exists. That's
yes.
why the video series exists. That's why my last 5 years exist. Something I did want to touch on that you mentioned twice. Excuse me, I can't talk today. Hi, English, me. You mentioned educators. First off, let's take a moment to just thank the educators of the world because without
Yes.
you, we would not be where we are, and your sacrifice is unspoken. I recently interviewed an educator where he told me that you went to school as a kid, but you didn't realize that your teacher probably had the worst day of their life, but they still came to school and they still taught you and gave you all of this goodness and value that you don't even know the origin. You know, maybe it was a personal story for them, but they might have gotten evicted that day and they still
Mhm.
came to school to teach. So considering that viewpoint and understanding that educators have lives too and they're people too, and then they come to school and give of themselves entirely is such an immense act of whatever you want to call it. You can call it selflessness, you can call it their calling, however you wish to phrase that, but it just is amazing to think about that they come from all walks of life in all sorts of situations, yet they show up every day, Monday through Friday, to give you the best of themselves. And I just think that
Mhm.
that's incredibly impressive.
Yes, it
And
is.
so there are educators in other countries other than the UK where they get paid accordingly. They get paid better than doctors and lawyers because those countries understand that they have significant position. Whereas in places such as here and like you said, the UK, that's not the case. They're not valued as much as they should be. And I really hope, and I'm sure us putting that energy out there, that there will be a time where they are respected more than they are now. So
Right.
it's going to happen. It's going to
Yes.
happen.
Yes.
So that, and then you mentioned the chaos in the world, the polarization, politically speaking, and also just, culturally speaking, there's a lot of conflict. And yes, it gets very crazy with the chaos. But I also recognize that what you mentioned about coming back to your plate, getting to your piece, going backward, and not really absorbing everything that's out externally or what
Yes.
you're perceiving internally from what you're viewing externally.
Yes.
And so I wholeheartedly agree with that. And then on the flip side, like I mentioned, I know that there are others out there who are putting forth positive content to kind of equalize, if not
Yes.
eventually take over, so that way
Yes.
people can see more of that positive content regardless of your algorithm.
Yes.
So I, yeah,
Mhm.
completely
Mhm.
committed to that 100%. It's not even a case of I want to make a video that makes you smile or feel good. I want to make something that makes you think about compassion and empathy toward other humans first before anything else.
Yes.
That's what I want to do.
Yeah.
So thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Now, it's been said that hardship teaches empathy and that once you've been broken, that you see the world completely differently. Is there a time for you, a story, or just a memory of where you were broken by a hardship and then the empathy just came through, whether it was through a person or a quote or something? Can you tell me a story like that?
Well, I actually coming into when COVID came, I had my own business and I ended up having to close it. And it put us into a financial hardship. And I had to go back to work. And I was in fear because we had lost some family members. And they weren't older people. We're talking young, healthy, you see them on a Monday and, Wednesday you're getting a phone call type of thing.
Yeah.
And I went into fear and I manifested a job that matched my fear. And this is the first time I know what fear does. How fear is so creative. And, it was a very toxic environment. And I had to make a very hard choice. I need to either say something or I'm going to let this go as if it's okay. So I had to have evidence, I had to make my case. This is something's wrong here. And I presented it. And the executive, took my feedback and everything, and he saw I had. But I wasn't an employee, I was a contractor. So when it came time for my contract, they didn't renew it. Okay. And I was sitting. I don't know if you can see this chair over there. I was sitting in that chair because I realized that my fear, the vibration of that fear matched that environment. There was a resonance. I never noticed. I never actually, we say we create with our thoughts and our feelings or whatever. I never, it sounded good, but I never really, really realized it was true until I could see the correlation. And I said to myself, my God, I manifested that, making more money than ever before, but so toxic, so difficult,
Yeah.
so inhuman. And It I was sitting there, I'm just crying, Vanessa, crying, like boo-hooing, like, I can't create another life. I can't create like this. I can't keep creating like this. I can't take it. And that is when I realized how powerful peace was. I didn't realize it before. I knew it was a good thing, but I did not realize how powerful it was, how powerful fear is, and how powerful peace is. And they're opposites. And so I had to make myself like call in the big me to take that child that terrified me and say, "Oh, honey, we got to come to peace. You don't want to create that again." And I started developing some ways of bringing myself into a place of peace. And I kid you not, within 3 weeks, I manifested a job that mirrored that peace. I'm like, "Whoa, whoa, okay,
Yeah.
okay." So my soapbox right now for people, especially where we are now, is we need peace and prosperity. peace and prosperity. So I do a whole lot with my clients. First thing we're going to work on is bringing in and anchoring calm. It actually defined how I approach hypnotherapy. And the first place is we need to calm the mind, the nervous system. We
Mm.
need you in a state of calm. And that calm actually helps create a space of inner safety. It changed how I live my life, and it changes how I work with clients because we're not just doing the progressive relaxation and rushing through and then we
Right.
no 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 we got to bring you into calm. We got to anchor.
So it's not just a quick fix, it's a holistic approach. We're looking at everything.
Yeah.
I love that so much. Now, kind of just going back, how did you get from the point of crying to the point of peace?
Well, like I said, I work with my guides. You can call them angels, whatever. They're not me, and maybe one of them is more a higher self version of me because I can tell when that part of me is coming online, but it
Mhm.
never will take control. But there have been a few times where it just stepped in. And it just like Napoleon Hill talks about it, and he said Henry Ford told him about it. They called it the other. It's a part of you, and it knows things you don't know. But the way that I got to it is I do have the ability to feel like one way and also kind of like witness it a little bit.
Mhm.
A lot of people don't watch themselves. They never you can learn to do it and you wanna learn to do it. Learn to witness yourself. Witness when you're being brilliant because people miss it. They're like, "Oh, you just said something brilliant." "Did I? I don't even know what I said." "Oh, well, you just said something that was, like, pretty left field." No. So, w the tools, EFT is one of the like tapping. And, I see people do it and they like all calm and everything. Oh no, I'm yelling, I'm cursing, and they're like, this damn thing is getting on my nerves, but I love myself anyway. So there are tools out there.
Mhm.
So I've done enough work so that there are tools. If you don't have some methods, you will need to build a toolbox. You need to build a toolbox. So I've learned to have a different kind of self-talk. 'Cause you can hear your critic, and it'll tear down, it'll tear you down, it knows your wounds, it pours salts in the wounds, it will just that voice, but there's another voice that says, "Okay, you're so loved, you're so supported, it's gonna be okay. It didn't work out that time, but it's gonna be okay. Just calm down. Just come and sit for a minute, come and sit for a minute. Just take some breaths. Let's calm the mind. Let's talk to God."
Mhm.
And then I have prayer warriors in my life. Sisters and cousins, call my prayer warriors. And I have a niece that's a therapist. Okay, I need you to be Dr. Sean for a minute for me.
Well, that's convenient. I have a dad that's a cardiologist. I got a mom that's no.
Right.
Lord. There used to be some kind of joke about that, like, your friend group, make sure you get someone over here in retail, you got somebody over
Right.
here at, Nordstrom's, Macy's, I'll cover all the it's hilarious, but my friends used to joke like that back in our youth. Somebody always worked somewhere that was beneficial to everyone and, smarter, not harder. But I love that you have a greater understanding of yourself and your peace and that guide. That's so awesome to think about, that there is that other part of you, because it's so true. There are times where you are living your life and you're doing as you do, being awesome as you are, and then you say something that you don't know where that came from, and that makes sense now. That's where that came from. Okay, there's an idea behind that. There's an entity or an energy of some sort that is
Hmm.
there with you, and that's where that came from. So that's interesting. Thank you. What is your outlook for humanity? If you had a forecast, say you were the weather girl, man, person, anchor, what's your forecast?
I am now gathering, and I would say that my meeting with you is gathering in my soul group. 'Cause one of the things I told my husband, my husband he's part of that group. He's my but I was like, "It's just the 2 of us. That's not enough."
Mhm. Yeah.
So so I've been gathering like-minded, and almost all of them are coming through podcasts, Substack, taking class, business stuff, and you just connect with the soul. But my forecast for humanity, I say that is because I'm working with a woman. I'm part of a spiritual leadership group. We meet once a month, and she's about going into the white light. And she's taught us this white light meditation, and she's like, "And then you can ask God to wash a certain situation in the white life." I'm like, "I'm gonna ask him to wash the whole country and
Yeah.
then the whole world." And literally, I'm picturing a map, and it's going into the washer machine, and because what I see is it's almost like the tree is being shaken
Right.
so the rotten fruit can fall off. And I predict, I'm not gonna predict, but
Foresee.
I'm foreseeing there's going to be um an awakening, but there might be more struggle and more chaos before we get there because we've let this problem go nuclear. We've let the problem go nuclear. And I believe that at some point we'll hit a critical mass, and this is important. For social change, it takes, they say, about 25%. There is some science behind this. And for political change, it takes about 3.5%. And nonviolent campaigns are twice as successful as violent ones. So we want to be on that
Mhm.
nonviolent. But I predict that people who used to be quiet and just go along to get along or try to stay out of it are gonna have to step in and say, "No, no, no, we can't have this. It don't matter if you red, if you blue, if you purple, it don't matter. We can't have this. We don't care how many zeros you have behind your name, we can't have this." And I believe that the 2.0 human is going to start accelerating, and I'm seeing it. I asked for guidance of where to go, and I was told podcasting. And this is to my guys, send me here, and then I'm on Substack now. And the energy of the 2.0 human is calling people, and we're going to hit that critical mass, and that's going to lift all of humanity. We have to be more courageous. We have to be more bolder. I keep pulling the card, and the last thing it says is walk the talk. We have to have our faith. Whatever our faith is, we have to live it. It can't just be on a certain day of the week or in a book. But I believe that the 2.0 human begin to, I think they're called. I think they're strategically placed all over the world in all different kinds of religions and all kind of places, and they all kind of different political parties, but we're all part of one group, and we're coming online. It's like popcorn. And popcorn, how popcorn, about two couple of pop, and then nothing, and then a couple of more pop, and then and then
Right.
some never pop.
Sure.
But I believe that we're gonna turn this ship. And there are gonna be some people that are gonna go kicking and screaming, and some people are gonna be like, "I'm not going," and it's okay. It's okay. Hey, there's room for you here on this ship. We still love you.
It's an excellent prediction. Foreseeing. Foresight. I love it either way. And that is something to add on as well. I mean, yes, there are going to be people that don't want to change with the rest of humanity and be elevated. That's going to be a fact, but there will be room for them regardless. I think that's what people need to hear is that if you're not there yet or if you decide not to, there will still be room for you.
Yes.
So, yeah. I like to ask people about their work in a different way, so just bear with me here. Can you tell us the why behind what you do and then tell us what you do?
Why? My goodness. I'm a preacher's kid, PK. My dad, amazing man. But my story used to be I have church wounds because I got a lot of the wounds because of dogma. Not because of God, but because of dogma. And it made me feel inadequate as a woman and undeserving. And at the same time, my natural state is ambitious. And so I started as a child to kind of like start to buck against like, I was trying so hard to get out of having to go to that place. My sisters were trying to be a negotiator for me, and my mom used to send me to my sisters in Ann Arbor when she was at school so I could at least have the summers away from that. But it was the only disagreement I ever had with my father was about the church. And early on, I started to see, well, if I'm a child and you're a child of God, and they're a child of God, and this father, mother is loving, abundant, infinite, what parent would allow their child to suffer needlessly and just to say, it'll be all right? Just keep suffering, it'll be all right, and you'll be better after you leave this plane. That did not set well with me. And I could not reconcile, and then I became afraid of God. So that was a whole nother problem. It's like that is that, and nothing about God. It was a dogma again. In a child that is abused by a parent still loves that parent, but they're also afraid of them because your existence really relies on that parent. So now it's a survival thing. So spiritually, I'm in trouble. So that pain set me up for being a seeker. And as I began to realize this ain't the whole story, a lot of what we're getting has been misinterpreted, some of it intentionally and some of it unintentionally, to give us the wrong idea about who we are and who God is and how the world works. And so one of my missions became, when I say I advocate for human potential, that human potential is a divine gift. It's a quality that no human gave us. We can't take credit for how this body is designed, for how the mind is designed, for how the brain. We can't take credit for that. And so my why is I feel we're in a spiritual crisis because the degree to which you feel safe with this higher presence, this being, that's going to determine how you play in the world and how you show up in the world. And so my work, I have the hypnotherapy, but I'm not trying to separate it from the spiritual piece. And our brain, that neuroscience piece of it, because the brain is the interface for the mind, and the mind is the gateway to God. So when you start letting your brain get hardwired and wired into fear and that survival mode, you're in constant fight, flight, freeze, and your prefrontal cortex is going offline where your higher capabilities and your ability to go for goals and make wise decisions, all it's getting compromised with all of this noise.
Mhm.
Now your interface to the divine is being compromised. It's not acceptable to me. That's not acceptable. So my goal is that humans start to realize my mind is too powerful to just let it run on default. And
Mhm.
it's too powerful to let external forces control it. We have to guard our treasure, and our treasure is our mind. And the mind is not just brain. Brain is just the interface. Your mind also includes your heart. The heart has its own intelligence. So we're when it says we are awesomely and magnificently made, that's not just something nice to say.
Right.
It's the truth. So that's my why.
And then the what you do
So
is advocating for human potential. And how does that
I do this by working with people because I believe our most sacred dreams, not the ones society is trying to tell us to go for, not the status ones, but the dreams and the goals that come from deep within us. And it may look, like it gives you status or whatever. That's not the point. The point is that it's coming from deep within you. I believe those goals are the universe, like getting us to come out.
Right.
And as we start going for those goals and those dreams, we actually start bumping up against those limiting beliefs, those narratives that don't serve us, those habits that don't serve us, those relationships that don't serve us. They start getting in the way and we start hitting walls. And my goal is with hypnotherapy and the mentoring is to help people projectize their goals, put it in a project plan, because I come out of technology and that's what we used to do projects. And part of the project plan is what beliefs do I need to change? What habits do I need to change? Where's my playtime? Where's my me time? Where's my soul time? You have to do risk management on mindset. Like if this happens, then I need to use this tool. I need to put this in place. So the way that I do this is through people's goals. So then we'll work on what it is they want to accomplish. And then they start bumping up against those limitations. And then we address them cognitively, but then we also address them through hypnosis. And then I give people tools and I give my people playbooks and they're working on their goals. And as they move forward in their goals, they have to excavate more of their talents and gifts and they hit up more limitations that they now have to deal with. And we just, organically deal with the things as they come up.
Yeah. That's wonderful work. That is meaningful work. And thank the Lord for you. So glad that you're in this world helping people through advocacy and also giving them tools to use and
Hmm.
utilizing tools yourself that are not traditional. I mean, I love things that are non-traditional because they have such potential to bring out more in ourselves. And if
Hmm.
something makes you greater and it's something that was non-traditional, then we should embrace that and
Yes.
have open minds. So I love that for you, for them, for us, for all of us. Thank you so much. Thank you for what you do. Yay.
Thank you.
And I'm so glad that you didn't stay in that chair and cry. So glad for that. Now, my favorite question in the whole wide world is if you could share a message with humanity, any message at all, what would you share with them? And feel free to take a moment if you need be.
Okay. I would say that the Matrix is real. It wasn't just a story. It is telling us something very real. A lot of fiction stories, sci-fi does that. I mean, here we are with, remember iRobot?
Uh-huh.
But I will say that when you wake up and you come out of it, you're not going to find that the world has been singed and that's not what you're going to find. You're going to find the world that made him say, "Oh, I just did something good. Look at, I'm just so good. Look at what I just did. Look at what we just did. It's good." But when you come out of it and you look back at the upside down world, it's shocking. And if you remember, some people want to go back to sleep because now you got to become strong and you got to separate from the tribe. Now you're going to have to deal with those fears of isolation and you might be lonely for a minute, but just for a minute. So the thing is, I would say a person needs to prepare themselves for a journey. You need to decide where you want to land. Do you want to land in your promised land, not somebody else's promised land? You want to land at the top of your mountain, not somebody else's mountain. And you need to be prepared for the journey because it's not a journey for the meek and the weak. And no, no, no. It's not all drudgery. It's not like that.
Right.
There's some play and there's some tomfoolery and some silliness, and you meet your allies and your mentors, and you go and get your butt kicked by some dragons, and then you go back and train. I think people need to understand the hero's journey, and then they need to make a decision. Do I want to be a hero in my own story, or do I want to be a victim? Or do I want to be the villain? Because some people are choosing to be the villain. You get to choose. And whether you know you're choosing or not, you're choosing. You're making a decision. So you're either going to be the hero in your own story, and the hero cares about other humans. The hero takes back what he's learned and puts it back into the community and the world. And I think there's just a real opportunity for humanity to, and this isn't going to happen as a group. It's got to happen one by one by one,
Sure.
two by two.
Sure.
So it's a personal decision of, you know, where do I want to land? Do I want to be a hero? Do I want to be a victim? Do I want to be a villain? Those are really the only three choices.
It's an excellent message. I love it so much. Thank you. Thank you for sharing
Yeah.
that. So, where can people find you? Where can they find your program, social websites, all that good stuff? Where can they find you?
Okay. So my website, the number three, hellos, HELLOS.com, and there are resources there. climbrightmountain.com. And there's specifically a resource about climbing the right mountain, because you don't want to climb up and be like, oh crap, my mountain's over there. And then you can find me on Substack, time to pivot and the number two, time to pivot.substack.com. And again, tons of resources.
Yeah. Well, we will put the I always say it backwards. Good Lord. We will put the links in the description of the episode. One of these days, y'all, I'm going to get it right. We will put all of those pieces of information there. Thank you so very much for being here today. I do want to give a Pod shout out, because Pod is the reason how we got to be here in this place. Podmatch is an amazing platform for those of you who are podcasters or podcast hopefuls. If you're wanting to be a host or a guest, vice versa, you can join Podmatch. And then also, if you're a host, they pay commission as well for hosting other people on your show. It's probably the only podcast platform that does. So you can find value in your guest and your host, and also have income as well. So thank you, Podmatch, for being awesome. This is not sponsored by them, by the way. I just love them so much. So I'm a huge advocate for them. Advocate. Now, as far as final thoughts, in recent episodes, I've started to kind of do a final thought at the end of each episode. What I take from today is that word, that powerful word, chrysalis. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. That was amazing. And then also finding your peace. And coming from a place of peace and being intentional and helping other people. And you are so right that we do have the choice. At the end of the day, you make a choice, or in the beginning of the day, you make a choice every day of which one of those roles you want to play, whether you are the hero or the victim or the villain. And I am so thankful that you shared all of this with us today. This conversation today reminds me of what happened during 9/11 even, and how the country came together, how it was not spoken exactly why they came together, but they just did. Everyone just came together and helped one another and was side by side with people that they would never know. And I'm not exactly sure why or why I thought of that, but talking about the chaos going on around us and everyone connecting more so on a human level, and not even asking like, what do you do or what can you do for me, but just, you're a human, I'm a human, let's be human together and try to help each other. And that internal need to be there for other humans has been really inspiring to see. And they reminded me of during the 9/11 time, when people did the same kind of action and they were just helping each other, whether they were in New York or whether they were in any part of the country. You saw a lot of camaraderie. You saw a lot of people just connecting on a human level. And that led to some really good things for all of us, as far as how we interact with one another, and just, memories of that period in time. So again, not to connect what's going on now with 9/11, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is the feeling of humanity connecting with one another for absolutely no reason other than the fact that we are humans together and we're all experiencing this together. So I would encourage you people to be kind humans. I always say that every episode, be good to other humans, and to reach out to your fellow humans that you don't even know. Create these communities with people that are not like-minded, or people that are like-minded, and become stronger, and then encourage others to be better humans as well. But whatever that is for you, do that. Do something. Don't just sit there, because that won't do much of anything. Thank you guys for joining us on Humanity 2.0 podcast. We will see you next week for another wonderful episode. And again, thank you, Robin, for being here. I hope you have the best week of your life.
Thank you so much.
Humanity 2.0 podcast is brought to you by Vanessa the Vivacious Productions. Want to be a guest? Visit the link in the episode description for future guest opportunities. Ready to podcast like a boss? Join Podmatch and begin your Podmatch journey via the link also listed in the description. Subscribe to Humanity 2.0 podcast on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Spotify, and more. Follow and help support the show by buying Humanity a cup of coffee via buymeacupofcoffee.com/Humanity 2.0 podcast. Above all, don't forget to be good to other humans. See you guys next time.